7 o'clock here on your Friday night. We begin with today's U.S. Supreme Court ruling to send abortion decisions back to individual states. South Carolina does not have a so-called trigger law that automatically bans abortion here. Republican lawmakers have been preparing to pass more restrictive abortion legislation in a special session sometime next month. Currently, South Carolina bans abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. However, a new state law banning abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected or at least 6 weeks will soon take effect. That law has been held up in the federal court since the governor signed it last year. A law passed before the end of the regular session allows South Carolina lawmakers to return any time after July 1st to deal with the high court's ruling that happened today.
What we are now going to do is tell those women, it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what your body says, it only matters what the government says. And I don't understand how a state that talks so much about freedom can take so much away from a woman.
We're going to have public hearings on this, and then we're going to come up with a bill, and we're going to put that to the House for a vote. And I expect the Senate to do the same thing.
Meanwhile, State Attorney General Alan Wilson has already filed a motion with the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals to have the stay lifted on the fetal heartbeat law. That law was initially passed by lawmakers last year. It would ban abortions again at about 6 weeks before most people know they're pregnant. The law was put on hold by the federal court pending today's outcome from the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, looking around the Southeast, abortion is currently legal in North Carolina, and it does not have any trigger laws regarding that procedure. North Carolina's governor now, Roy Cooper, saying that he would veto any abortion restriction bill and will fight to keep politicians out of the doctor's exam room. Abortion opponents say abortion rights in the state likely will not change until November, when Republicans have the chance to win a supermajority in that state's General Assembly. Now, that's North Carolina, but what about Georgia? Well, abortion is currently legal up to 22 weeks of pregnancy there. In May of 2019, about 3 years ago, Governor Brian Kemp signed the heartbeat abortion law there, similar to the one we have here, which was struck down by a federal court in 2020. Now, with Roe versus Wade overturned, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals could overrule the federal court's decision, and their heartbeat law will become the standing law in the state of Georgia. Now, News 19's Zoe Henry, she is in downtown Columbia right now. She has been speaking with community members with how this could affect South Carolinians here at home. Zoe?
I spoke with Palmetto families today, and they say it's an exciting day. They say that they're now going to be pushing more for family support and communities across South Carolina. I also spoke with Appleseed Legal Justice Center, who represents many reproductive advocacy groups across the state. And now they're asking, what's next?
Exciting time, and there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of talk back and forth. The exciting part for us is that, to be honest with you, a lot of conservatives have hoped for this day for nearly 50 years.
Mitch Prosser is the director of outreach with Palmetto Family. He says this decision to overturn Roe versus Wade will allow for a wider platform for pro-life issues.
And so for Palmetto Family, we're focusing on a lot of pro-life issues, including palliative care, end-of-life issues. We're focusing on foster care and adoption and what it looks like for the community to wrap their arms of support around those in foster care and adoption.
Sue Berkowitz with South Carolina Appleseed Legal Justice Center says the new decision will help South Carolina legislators move forward with banning abortion.
That has been totally upended, and it has changed 50 years of precedent and the law of the land.
She says this decision is inconsistent with another decision made where the Supreme Court decided states could not make individual decisions.
Then we have a decision today where a constitutional right was thrown back to the states with the knowledge that many states, probably half of them, would take that constitutional right.
People both in support and against the decision went out to the South Carolina State House to express their feelings about Roe versus Wade getting overturned.
I am here to see what's next on our agenda. I know that Roe versus Wade's been overturned, which personally, I'm okay with that. I'm totally against abortion, completely against abortion.
The Supreme Court has lost their mind. They have banned a woman's reproductive rights, but can't ban a psycho from getting a gun to shoot innocent kids.
Now we wait on Governor McMaster to make a decision for a special session here in South Carolina to make the decision on abortion here in the state. In Columbia, Zoe Henry, News 19, WLTX.
And Governor McMaster reacted to today's Supreme Court decision. He called it a victory for the Constitution, saying it's also a win for those who have worked for so many years to protect the lives of the most vulnerable among us. Meanwhile, the Democrat nominee for governor also issuing a statement tonight. Joe Cunningham calling this a dark day in America. He added that the four walls of a doctor's office simply aren't big enough for a woman, her partner, her doctor, and the government. But Cunningham says the government has decided to force themselves in anyways. 6th District Congressman Jim Clyburn has reaction this evening. Take a listen.
That case, I think, is a giant step backwards. But I've also studied our history enough to know that that is the way it has almost always been in this country. We take forward steps, and then we sometimes take backward steps. This today, in my opinion, was a backward step by the United States Supreme Court.
We are also hearing tonight from 5th District Congressman Ralph Norman.
This is a historic day for our country. The Dobbs case, where Roe v. Wade was reversed, is great for life, it's great for America, and June 24th will stand the test of time for a long, long time.
For the latest on today's ruling nationwide and here in South Carolina, head to our website, WLTX.com, or the free News 19 mobile app. After a week-long trial, a man's been convicted and sentenced to life in prison for murdering a Sumter 5-year-old and her mother. Kaylin Hagwood tonight has those details.
Family and investigators broke into tears as Dante Johnson was found guilty on all counts. The prosecution was not seeking the death penalty by request of the family, and the judge gave him 2 consecutive life sentences. Bradley's brother called him deplorable, despicable, and less than human.
The constant thinking about how my nephew had to go and discover his mother the way he did and have to live with that the rest of his life. And the reason for all that is this gentleman behind us.
During closing arguments, prosecutors said Johnson stabbed Bradley 14 times with a large knife, killed Nevaeh, and put the child in the trash. Then they say he confessed to it.
We know he cleaned the apartment, then he cleaned himself. He got rid of the cell phone, he got rid of the pocketbook.
But public defenders for Johnson tried to claim their client feared for his life and only had the knife for protection from her children's fathers, questioning why others didn't hear the crime take place.
I remember when I lived in an apartment, I could hear everything that my next door neighbors were doing. It doesn't make sense.
In the end, jurors rejected those claims. Solicitor Chip Finney says he hopes the verdict will help the community heal from this tragedy. Reporting in Sumter, Kaylin Hagwood, News 19, WLTX.
Weather-wise, plenty of sunshine today, Chief, but it didn't feel as humid outside.
It is, and more importantly, it was nowhere near as the storms that we had last night at this time. It's been a beautiful day, just a little bit of cloud coverage, but as we get into sunset, the skies are starting to clear. Over Williams-Brice Stadium, it is mostly sunny, 89 degrees, winds are out of the east-southeast at 10 miles an hour. Our forecast for tonight, well, sort of partly cloudy, light southeast winds, a low of 70 degrees. Tomorrow, it's going to be your typical summer Midlands day. It's going to be mostly sunny, hot, a bit humid, with a high of 95 degrees. JR, we do have rain in the forecast, but not until next week. We'll talk about Sunday's weather coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Chief, thank you. Not an ideal morning for homeowners and businesses in parts of Fairfield County after yesterday's severe weather rolled through the Midlands, causing a lot of destruction and damage. Some living in the area spent their day picking up limbs, cleaning up around their homes. Residents telling us the storm displaced multiple belongings around their homes. One person is dead and 2 others wounded following an apartment shooting in Richland County. This happened this morning at the Grove at St. Andrews apartment complex. One man was found dead inside an apartment. So far, no arrests have been made. If you have any information that can help, call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. One person has been arrested, and police say they're searching for 2 others after a stabbing in Sumter. It happened at a home on McCrae's Mill Road. Police say a 33-year-old woman was riding a bike before being given a ride to a store on the Pinewood Road. While in the van, officers say the woman was stabbed and then forced out of the vehicle. She was flown to a hospital here in Columbia. She's in critical condition. Officers have arrested 19-year-old Tyler Flowers. They're searching for 28-year-old Raheem Myers and 19-year-old Abigail Wyndham. All three are facing a charge of attempted murder. If you have any information on where they can be found, call Crime Stoppers 1-888-CRIME-SC. Also tonight, Sumter police are looking for a missing man. He's identified as Stephen Pinkney. We're being told he has a medical condition that requires medication. It's unclear if he has it with him. If you have any information on where he can be found, again, call Crime Stoppers 1-888-CRIME-SC. Well, because nobody or few people are using the common bus system in Batesburg-Leesville, they're going to stop the bus routes to that area a week from today. The rural route has 2 trips to Batesburg-Leesville every Thursday, so this coming Thursday will be the last day. Comment leaders say they are exploring other options to better serve that area of Lexington County. Still ahead for you now, those temperatures remaining in the mid-80s to low 90s this coming week. How's that forecast shaping up for the entire weekend? Our chief meteorologist, Efren Afonte, he's got the forecast in just a moment.